How would David Hume respond to the statement that the only thing that we can know is the sum of our current sense data? In order to answer this question, first we must ask ourselves, how would David Hume respond to a question inquiring about the nature of reason and knowledge? And how can knowledge be obtained? First of all, David Hume divides reason into two kinds. Of the first kind are the sciences of geometry, algebra, and arithmetic, and in short, every affirmation which is either intuitively or demonstratively certain. For example, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the square of the two sides, or 3 times 5 is equal to half of 30. These things are without dependence on what is anywhere existent in the universe. The second sort of reasoning is what is known as matter of fact. Matter of facts are everything that do not fall under the domain of relations of ideas, that is to say, things that are dependent on what exists in the universe. Another property of matter of fact is that the contrary is still possible. What does Hume mean by this, you ask? In order to understand it better, let's take an example. The statement, "the sun will rise tomorrow," is said to be matter of fact, as the claim is based on the experience of seeing the sun rise in the past. Also, the statement, "the sun will not rise tomorrow," is a conceivable contradiction and is no less intelligible a proposition. According to David Hume, all reasonings concerning matter of fact seem to be founded on the relation of cause and effect. By means of relation, humans are able to deduce things beyond their memory and senses. For example, if a person lifts up a ball, they know through experience that the ball will fall, so the person makes a connection between the ball being lifted from the ground and the effect that proceeds from it. In this case, the ball falling to the ground. We also know from before that matters of fact must have a contrary that can be conceived. The ball flying up in the air upon release is fathomable. In this way, matters of fact can be seen to have a cause and an effect. Hume continues to point out a fundamental problem with cause and effect. The problem is that knowledge of the relation between cause and effect cannot be obtained a priori. Let us take someone that has extremely good reasoning abilities and a high intelligence. If this person were placed with an object that was entirely new to them, even after immense scrutiny and examination, the man would not be able to discover any of its causes or its effects. Hume goes on to point out another problem with cause and effect, and that is the relation between cause and effect cannot be found through experience. This is because, if we used experience to find relation, we would have to assume that the future is conformable to the past, and we cannot make that assumption as it is circular. So if we cannot know matters of fact a priori, and we cannot know them through experience, how can we be certain of the fact that we know anything to be true? Without any medium that links cause and effect, we are stranded in pursuing knowledge. So we can now answer the question, how would David Hume respond to the statement that the only thing that we can know is the sum of our current sense data? He would say, no, that is incorrect. The only thing we can know, and the only thing we can deduce is through relations of ideas. Sense data cannot be trusted in finding knowledge, as it relies on a constantly conformable and unchanging universe, which simply cannot be proven to be true, for the proof of the argument lies in its premise. Therefore, sense data can never and will never enable us to find any sort of knowledge, according to David Hume. The argument is extremely good because it makes no assumptions about the nature of the universe and draws completely from rationality in making its claims. One problem with Hume's argument is that he claims that the medium that links cause and effect is not present, or at least he cannot find any medium a priori or a posteriori. With the current advancement of quantum mechanics, it may be very well possible that we could literally observe, at a fundamental level of nature, cause and effect. That is to say, we could see movement of energy from one subatomic particle to another. David Hume, though, didn't have access to this information, and so this criticism does not hold a great deal of weight. All in all, David Hume is a champ. Yep.